Wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No more backward thinking, time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much from what it used to be. There's so much hatred, war and poverty.
In the words of Minnie Pearl, howdy and welcome to You Got to Laugh to Keep from Crying. My name is O.W. Sweeney. I'm here with my good friend, my buddy, my comrade, my homeboy, and all the above, and still some. Richard Courts, how you doing, my good brother?
Hey,
how
brother.
you doing? You feeling all right today?
And I'm very happy to be
Yes,
here,
yes.
as always, with
Yes,
my
yes.
good brother and fellow co-host,
Yes.
Oliver Wendell Sweeney.
Thank you, sir.
And we've been fighting this fight a long time,
a
brother.
good fight to fight, but we must let the people know
We're sponsored by
the
North Carolina Triad Jobs with Justice. That's Jobs with Justice. That's
yes.
right.
And that's a good point to end. And we're here with Robin Martin.
Oh, wait a minute, though. Let's show
Oh,
our
I
audience
forgot. I
that we
forgot.
know how they can contact us.
Yes.
By calling
336
272 2758. And now, we're here with a fine young man.
Named Robin Martin.
Well said.
That's right.
And I have the privilege of giving this young fighter for justice.
Well, I'm going to shake his hand and say,
Oh,
welcome
go ahead.
aboard.
Oh,
Welcome
okay.
aboard, good brother.
and I'll shake his hand after I've
Presented
presented him with our
our
highest
highest
honor. Workers deserve respect.
Respect.
And you weren't even born, Brother Robert, when OW and I designed this pin for
I
postal
believe
workers. No, for postal workers about 18, 20 years ago.
Closer to 20.
Yeah, because we were both postal workers. Postal workers were getting hit so hard by abusive managers that we had something called Postal Accountability Day back then. And we designed this button as part of the local effort here in the Greensboro area
Sounds
to
kind of
deal with it. Yeah, but workers deserve respect, and we know that you're a staunch fighter for that. So we're very pleased to give you this button, our highest award.
Thank you. I put that right underneath.
All right, sounds
Right
good.
underneath my Fight for 15 pen.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to let you know, we're in conflict already. I believe in a living wage, not a 15-hour wage. Nobody live off 15 hours. But we're gonna let you tell your story a little bit before we get into this conversation and this argument over that button. Because if that's your button, I'm gonna let you have it. 'Cause I'm missing mine today. So go ahead and tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 17 years old.
You're going to be 18 in a couple of days.
I'm going to be 18 on Sunday.
All right.
Yes, sir. And I've been out on my own since February. My mom was a pill addict, and she got out of the Marines when my sister was about 2 years old, and she turned to alcohol and drugs and pills, and my dad joined the Army, so I really had no stability whatsoever when it came to my life. So I got out on my own when I turned 17.
But you did manage to graduate high school.
I
You
graduated
can tell our
from
audience.
Grimsley.
Yeah.
I graduated from Grimsley last June.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
And that's quite a good accomplishment
Yes.
for somebody who's dealing with instability at home to be able to graduate. So let me shake your hand about that.
Congratulations. One
That's
more
quite a
time.
good
Sir,
thing.
I appreciate
Keep up
that.
the good work.
Never fails.
Okay then. So,
You gotta keep your head held high.
okay.
Exactly.
And you can hold your head high.
Make sure you know what you want in life.
All right then.
But
And also know that workers deserve respect.
all workers deserve
That's right.
respect because
That's right. We're the ones that make things go in this world.
I'll work to live, but I am not living to work.
All right.
I hear you. Very good statement. Very good statement.
He's lived his life that way, I can
Yes,
tell you.
Yes. So now you can go ahead and you can start talking about raise up for 15.
Oh, you want to get right into it, don't
Yeah, I
you?
want him to talk about
Let's
raising
get into
for
it.
15
No,
and why you
fast
joined
food
that
industry.
movement.
Fast food industry. I was working at Burger King over there on West Market Street, and I was getting paid $7.25 an hour. I was getting good hours, but I was getting $7.25 an hour, and I was bringing home checks to where it was like I could only get so much to eat, but I still had to pay my rent. my light bill, my water bill, and it got to the point to where it was so expensive to live that I had to eat a sandwich a day. But I was making sandwiches for other people every day.
Yeah.
I love working in fast food. I really do. I love making sandwiches for people, you know, seeing their faces when they get their food, just the joy on people's faces. It brings joy to me, helping other people. But at the same time, at the end of the day, I can't even feed myself. And we're fighting, me and fast food workers all around the nation. We're all fighting so we can get a living wage, not just enough to get by. You know.
Well, right now, fast food workers in this country are not getting enough even to get by.
Exactly.
You know, the 7.25 or 8.25 or 9.25, or even the 10.10 that President Obama, the so-called friend of labor, is talking about. People can't live on 10.10 an hour either.
My point about this whole thing is that those type wages are the working poor. I mean, you're working and you're still poor, and it shouldn't be that way. And it's based on greed. I mean,
Who's greed? Can you say 1%?
The
1%,
company's greed.
1%, or 0.5%. They're sucking all the money out, but yet they want you to continue to work, and you're supposed to go to work, and you're supposed to be happy-go-lucky, making $7.25 an hour. I mean, and you're supposed to be glad that you had that job. And
It's not
to
fair.
me, I think they need to be taken out and back and be lynched, because
Don't say that.
that's what I think they should be done to them. Because what they're doing is they're living high on the hog, and they used to throw the chitlins out, and they don't even throw the chitlins out no more, so you can't get nothing. The young man just got finished talking about, Robert, just saying that he fixed sandwiches for people every day. But he had to cut back so he only eat one day.
Right. That's criminal. But they ought to get due process. And then whatever the jury of our peers, the jury of the 99% decides happen to them, should happen to them. But you and I shouldn't be declaring.
And get this,
Yeah.
I was just giving my opinion. I wasn't giving your opinion.
Right, okay.
Go ahead, Robert.
to eat at our own job, we have to pay for half the meal.
And you pay 50%.
We
for
have
that.
to pay for half the meal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we make money for them all the time. We still got to give it back when they're not even giving us enough.
That's right.
So you can't even afford to eat where you work at.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
You know, that reminds me about years ago, people talking about that people that made shoes couldn't buy the shoes that they made. So now, if you don't mind, you could mention the story about your shoes, since you have to stand on your feet at work.
Shoes. See, I walk in my working shoes every day. I have a pair of sandals, and I have a pair of working boots, and I have a pair of tennis shoes that I walked around for years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to save up at least a month and a half to 2 months just to get a new pair of shoes. And you know, I see the CEOs sitting back making $6.7 billion a year.
Is that Burger King or
That's McDonald's.
McDonald's? Okay.
But they are making money,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't care about what's going on with us.
Right.
You know,
They care only that you are a source of profit for them.
exactly.
That's it. Yeah.
Exactly. And they don't care whose toes they're gonna step on.
So do they at least provide you with uniforms, and do they at least provide you with them shoes you have to wear?
They don't provide us with anything.
You mean
You know.
after that, out of that poverty
they take,
wage,
they
you got
take
to buy
money out of our paychecks for our first uniform.
Wow.
You got to pay them to wear their uniform.
$25.
Wow. They get you coming and going.
So they
Wow.
They
Don't say it.
don't say. Well, I'm gonna say this.
I
here.
may go right back with you the way things are going if I hear it
What
for
I was getting ready to say, and you talking about we shouldn't take him out back. I mean, it's. And I bet you
It's
you don't know
criminal.
what really kills
Absolutely
me.
criminal.
It's heartbreaking.
You know what really kills me?
Right.
And I bet they get up on Sunday morning and go to church and praise Jesus Christ, a man who came here to fight for the oppressed.
Well, they may
All
get,
right? That is his legacy.
Let's hope their prayers are answered.
Is the fight for the oppressed.
right.
And I guess the reason they say he's gonna come back again because we're still being oppressed.
Okay.
And somebody got need to stand up and come back and speak up and tell the folks that you need to stop this craziness.
You know the old saying, you throw a man a fish and he'll eat. You teach a man to fish and he'll eat for life.
Correct.
I'm fishing and I still can't eat.
You done told that story, so it's amazing that we citizens, and this is one reason we had this show, because we want to awaken the people to the fact that the people on the bottom are the majority, and we need to stand up for each other. We need to fight. We need to come together to demand a living wage, not a minimum wage, but a living wage. People can't raise a family on there. I know people nowadays.
He's not able to support himself by himself.
I was going to get this here. I was going
Yeah.
to get to that part. I mean, people can't support a family on that.
Right.
And you're living proof that the fact that you can't even survive on that.
Right. Yeah.
Because if you can only afford to eat once a day, you're not even surviving. You're just sort of existing.
I feel bad for my coworkers. They get the same pay that I do. They get the same hours that I do. But they also have 3 other mouths to feed and 3 other rooms to pay for in the house.
Yeah.
The same wage. You know, that's why I say it's so heartbreaking. Because I was working at a McDonald's up in Maryland. And there's this woman I worked with. She worked there for 32 years.
The same one?
Same one for
Wow.
32 years. She was living paycheck to paycheck every single week. And when she retired, there was nothing waiting for her. Nothing waiting for her. So she's in poverty and she's homeless now. But she worked for 32 years and she still has nothing.
Right.
Yes, that is purely disgusting. And you said we should take Marley back.
We should take him out in the
Okay, you come over to my side now.
We should take him out in the back. Where they should be,
But
where
one
they
thing,
should have to face a jury of our peers.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. But we as citizens, we must also rise up and
Absolutely.
and fight.
It's the only way we're ever going to get
That's
them out the
right.
back.
We got to tell them they need to stop the madness. They need to stop this madness.
We're going to have to stop their madness.
We, the people.
You don't mean, wait a minute, not the corporations?
We don't mean we the corporations.
Okay.
I mean, we ain't talking about the ones that the Supreme Court
Okay.
said that
Yeah.
that are people. The ones
Okay.
that not are paying income taxes. We talking about the ones that paying the income taxes.
Okay,
All right.
okay, those people.
Those
The ones
people.
that breathe.
Yes, those
And
people.
breathe.
Us fast
And-
food workers can't do it together either.
Well, no, you need our help.
Exactly.
And we need
Yeah.
your help, because the organized section of the working class is getting whacked to the point where we're all going to be reduced to the status that the fast food workers are in right now if we don't start uniting with you.
Exactly.
And if you don't start uniting with us, then you're not going to have the strength
We got
to prevail either. So
We got
we need each other.
We got demand to get rid of that 8-hour work day. It's obsolete.
Right.
We got to come up with that 4-hour work day so we can put more people back to work at a living wage.
That's right.
Not at a minimum wage, at a living wage. See, these are things we citizens got to start crying about, yelling about, talking to the politicians about. We got to ask them questions when they
You
stand out
can't be
there.
scared.
Beg pardon?
Can't be scared. It's our right.
What you got to lose?
That's right.
That's what
Nothing
we're
from
fighting
nothing leaves what? Nothing.
Yeah.
for. We're fighting for our life. What do we have to lose?
Nothing. Because you ain't got nothing to lose.
Exactly.
Right. And when you look at if our audience thinks about what you just said, some of the people might say, wow, that doesn't make any sense. But let me tell our viewers, they need to consider the question, what has happened to all of the profits made off the labor of workers working with automated machinery?
That's right.
You know, we had an 8-hour workday and a 40-hour work week to support a family of 4, 60, 70 years ago in this country. And with all the automation that's happened, what you said, Brother Sweeney, about a 4-hour workday, we're talking about that should be a full-time,
Standard.
living wage
Wage
job
job, right.
for all working people.
That's right.
A 4-hour workday. And maybe a 5-hour week, a 4 or 5, I mean, a 4 or 5 day, 4 or 5 day
Well,
week.
I can go
at
4 hours. 4 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Maybe.
I
Maybe.
think that'd be comfortable.
But our audience needs to consider what has happened to all of the profits that have been made off our
Oh,
labor
yes.
with all the extra automation that's happened over the last 60, 70
don't-
years.
Hey,
See, when y'all are talking about the 4 or 5 hours a day, I'm sitting here thinking, dang, I bust my tail 8 hours a day.
Mhm.
I still.
That's right.
Well, you see, what we talk about 4 or 5 hours because of all the automation, they done cut down on jobs. So where the 8-hour day used to be a good thing, it's no longer, it's obsolete now because we can't employ enough people with an 8-hour day work day. So they have to make it a 4-hour work day so we can get the people to work.
To have a productive job.
A productive
and
job,
to
right.
be able to support a family.
That's right.
But that requires that the 1% that's doing better than they've ever done in the history of the United States.
Well, they're doing
Not
better.
yeah, but that they're not
They're doing better.
that they're not going to be able to do so
We
well.
coming out- we
And the
coming
rest
out
of
of-
the 99% is going to have to do a heck of a lot better.
Well,
That's what it's, and they're not going to give it up willingly.
They say we haven't fully come out the recession of 2007-8, okay? But yet, Wall Street is soaring in profit.
Absolutely. Unprecedented profits.
That's right.
Right.
$26.3 billion payout to the McDonald's shareholders.
Yeah.
Is that right? Last year,
It's just happened.
just happened.
I mean, the last quarter?
$26.3
$3
billion.
billion.
Wow.
Billion.
Yeah. So now at least the McDonald's workers know where all of the hard work has led to that $26 billion.
Look
Wow.
at the advertisements on TV. What do you see? Wendy's, McDonald's,
Right.
Burger
Burger
King,
King.
Arby's. How much do they pay for those?
Mm-hmm.
But they
Right.
still can't pay their workers.
Right. That's right.
No.
You're right. One thing you had mentioned before we went around the air about having been at a conference in Chicago recently with other fast food workers. You want to tell our audience a little bit
Oh,
about
yes.
the organizing that fast food workers are beginning to really engage in?
You know, I joined the movement a couple months back. I finally got the opportunity to go to a convention in Chicago, which was held 4 miles from the McDonald's headquarters, and there was about 1,300, 1,400 fast food workers there
From all over the country.
from all over the country,
Uh-huh.
45, 46 different cities.
Uh-huh.
You know, I think there might have been one from every state except for Alaska and Hawaii.
Okay.
And we all stood up together and we all fight for the same thing.
That's great.
And we realized, that made me realize I'm not alone. We're not alone. We have the NAACP behind us.
Mhm.
We have presidents of a whole bunch of different companies coming together to help us.
Companies or unions?
Companies and unions.
Because the union workers and any decent union leader has to recognize that we have got to unite with these fast food workers like yourself. Got to.
We have to
To
spread the
fight
word.
for a living wage for all
We
of
have
us.
to spread the word.
Yeah.
We have to attack each one of those companies one at a time.
One at a time.
If we have to do that to bring them to their knees.
We just recently won a dispute with McDonald's about
Right.
how their franchises, they can't do anything about them because they're franchised. But it's McDonald's. So the corporation has to take full coverage and all responsibility of anything that happens in those franchises. So now they can't say...
Was that the Supreme Court or was it?
That was the Supreme
Court
Court.
that ruled that?
now they can't say, oh, if we raise minimum wage, then oh, they don't have to. All McDonald's companies have to. And that's one of the things that was keeping us back from fast food.
Yeah.
But once we start going towards the corporations, the CEOs of corporations, if we get, the more people we get, how are they going to stop us?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good approach to have.
This is still a civil rights movement.
This is a right, Reverend Barber, everybody knows Reverend Barber.
The state NAACP president
Yes.
here in North Carolina.
He spoke with us in Chicago. He told us if we keep fighting, this movement's going to get bigger than any other movement in the United States has ever had. Civil rights movement, the women's rights movement, just any of them, any of the movement, this is going to be the biggest one. The more people we get, the better it's going to be.
Well, because the have-nots definitely outnumber the haves in this country. And there's more and more of us have-nots and less of the haves.
That's right.
So he's got a point.
It's a crying shame people have enough money where if they start spending $1 million a day, they couldn't spend it all before they die. But yet there's people out there, such as yourself, who's working every day, only eat 1 meal a day. And people must understand that they like to knock unions, that unions are bad, but unions come together collectively to bargain for the people. They don't look at it that corporations do the same thing. They're not allowed to set a monopoly or anything like that, or set to come together and set prices, but they do it anyway. They have conventions and conferences that they go to. It's not no more than a corporation union where they get together and they strategize how they gonna give the shaft to the people.
How we going to make more money?
Yeah, how? That's the shaft to the people. They're gonna keep grabbing it up all, but people don't understand that is the same thing as a union. And it's all right for them to do it, but it's wrong for the people down the bottom to come together to fight the leaders.
Wait a minute. If we say that the 1% or the 1/10 of 1% at the top of this economy are doing better than they ever had, they say through their mouthpieces in the media that we're talking about class war. But they're actually implementing a class war as we speak against us. And if we say anything about the class war they're waging against us, we're raising class warfare. That's exactly what you're talking about.
Well, I want them to understand.
Yeah.
If they don't want us to raise class warfare,
They should stop waging the war.
give us a living wage.
Give us our daily bread.
All right? If they give us a living wage, we won't have to fight that class warfare. But as long as they're going to keep sucking it up top and holding it all and not giving it to you, where they're going to make us on the bottom here starve, it's going to be a class warfare.
Right.
You can't jump in water and don't expect to get wet.
True. And the fact of the matter is that because of the nature of the capitalist system, no one capitalist is ready to give a fair wage, a living wage. Because once they do that, they're going to be swallowed up by the capitalists that are ruthlessly squeezing every last ounce of blood out of us. That's why it's up to us, the working class people, the fast food workers, the union workers, and so on. Fast food workers need to become union workers.
Right.
And that it's up to us to demand and to put ourselves in a position where we can demand a living wage. They're not going to voluntarily give it to us, because they'd be committing suicide as a capitalist when they voluntarily gave it. The individual capitalist that would voluntarily give it to us.
Let me tell you something. You know how everybody's like, oh, he just works in fast food. All you're doing is flipping burgers. All you're doing is just giving people orders. It's way more than that. It's way more than that. We scrub. We take orders. We deal with customer service. We make food. We make sure that it's the right temperature. We bust our tails. What people don't know is we're treated terribly.
Right.
They see us, they come in, they see us smiling because we'll get fired if we don't smile.
Mm.
They don't want to let people know, hey, we're hurting, because
Right.
they're scared they're going to lose their job. But
Right.
what I'm doing right now is I'm standing up and I'm telling you, it's okay to fight for what you want. Because if you don't fight for what you want, you're never going to have it.
Right. I want to say one other thing to you, Robert, and that is, beside the fact that I'm very pleased to meet you, and I know OW was as well. But
And honored
I-
to call you a brother.
That's right.
My brother.
That's right.
We're all
But I also
brothers and
want to say that, that when we say workers deserve respect, that's something fundamental. And workers are the people that make everything happen in society. They should be respected at the highest level, not at the lowest level. But even the Democratic Party, that's supposed to